That's a good thing and a bad thing. Well, then you have no business watching a movie like that.
I'm just saying, some people don't know that going into it. The Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans are better, and you think Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans are better. I could see that.
Welcome back to another podcast from CNJ Film Fellas. This is Clayton, Nick, and Jonathan. In this podcast today, we're going to discuss superhero movies. I think it's safe to say that nowadays superhero movies are maybe the most popular kind of movies out, honestly. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly are the talk of the town.
And you know, we've already had the new Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. We've had Ant-Man very recently come out, and even later, I think in March, the new Batman versus Superman comes out. So it is pretty safe to say that superhero movies are still rising. So again, this one is just going to be more of a discussion between all three of us, because I can actually get more into this topic today because I didn't know nearly as many of your movies on your lists. And I'm actually going to open it up here. Clayton and Jonathan, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there that I know you love The Dark Knight.
Yep, absolutely.
But I'm going to go out there and say Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
As your favorite?
As my favorite,
Yeah,
yes.
It's a good one, but it's just...
I just don't think Tony Stark
Well, I think it's kind
can
of
be
obvious.
beat.
My favorite superhero movie is The Dark Knight because it was number 2 on my favorite movie list.
Obviously, same. It's got to be The Dark Knight.
Well, you, Clayton, you had 2 Dark Knight movies in your, what was it, your favorite list?
Yeah. I think Dark Knight Rises was number 8 and Dark Knight was number 2.
Yeah. I would put Batman Begins slightly above The Dark Knight Rises, but it really is The Dark Knight is 1, Batman Begins is 2A, and The Dark Knight Rises is 2B.
Well, I haven't seen 3, but I like 1 because of Liam Neeson.
Because mainly, I think your thought on it, Jonathan, is like you said, it starts out too insanely high.
Yeah, too good.
As far as expectations.
Yeah. And like I said, it's going from the IMAX airplane scene, it's very hard to top.
That's probably one of the best scenes in the series.
Yeah, that's the second best scene in the series.
Besides one of the Heath Ledger scenes, right?
Obviously, whenever Christian Bale's just beating the fuck out of him in the interrogation room.
And he doesn't give a shit. He's laughing the entire time, hysterically.
Yeah. But you go, why? I mean, I said Iron Man's great. Well, I don't. It's very the first one's very good. You know, I seen it in theaters, loved it. It came out 2 months before The Dark Knight. You know, made $500 million. So what Marvel was able to do to a second string character like Iron Man? Now Iron Man's the most popular character. Marvel character.
I have to give a shout out to Marvel. Bravo for casting Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just him living his life. Yeah. You know, when he was on drugs and alcohol, he was Tony Stark.
That's why I think I like it so much, because he fits the role perfectly.
No, absolutely. He kills it. That made him the highest paid actor.
Oh yeah, by far.
You know, that completely resurged his career. You know, because people were kind of running him off as, a drug addict who couldn't stay out of trouble. And then, boom, he is in, the 5th or 6th highest grossing movie of that year. Completely leads The Avengers, which is the 3rd highest grossing movie ever made. So it's a good pick. I think it's my dad's favorite because it's more accessible to watch. It's funner to watch. As in The Dark Knight's not very fun. It's more serious, you gotta be in a certain mind to watch that. But, if Iron Man's on cable, you could, eat a meal, drink a beer, enjoy Iron Man. It's very casual, but the very best casual way of watching it.
I feel you.
But it's not even my favorite Marvel, and in fact, there's a few other movies that I like more than Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises, and that's probably...
Wait, you mean that The Dark Knight isn't your favorite?
No. The Dark Knight is my favorite. But whenever we were ranking the Nolan Batman trilogy, like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises, I like certain Marvel movies more. Because naturally, I like Marvel more.
Well, name some of the better Marvel movies than Iron Man. Then,
or the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight Rises. Sure. First of all, I still to this day, love Spider-Man 2. I know Clayton's gonna give me shit, but it's still
just so you know, Clayton just is throwing his hands up in the air.
Yeah, but at the time, from a technological standpoint, it hasn't probably held up, but it's still, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock at the time was probably the best superhero movie villain. And it's still
until Heath Ledger.
Yeah, but that's completely different.
Yeah, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, that's a completely different game. But it's so good. I love the fight scenes. I felt like Sam Raimi was able to capture just how just shitty Peter Parker's life was. And there's a part in the movie where he's staring up in the windows and he's like, can I not have what I want? Why do I always have to be everyone's hero? I have nothing for myself. And that just, it's poetic. Spider-Man 2 is poetic.
Okay.
You at least agree that the third one's shit.
Oh, yeah. If the second one wasn't an instant classic, the third one is so bad it could take away from it. But the second one is just up there. And that's the reason why I feel like it was so bad, was because the second one was probably the best movie of that year. And it still holds up after almost 15 years. And it had, I think it's kind of technical, Sony Pictures was wanting to push Venom onto Sam Raimi because he knew that everyone knows that Venom's a bigger draw in the box office. But Sam Raimi was wanting to keep Sandman in the movie, which his character in that is not how he's portrayed in the comic books. So you felt kind of...
You mean Thomas Hayden Church?
Yeah, the Sandman. Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman's character is not accurate in the comic or in the movie. So it's just, you feel kind of like it's really not Sam Raimi's vision. I feel like because Spider-Man 3 at the time was the most expensive movie ever made, which was surpassed only 2 weeks later by Pirates of the Caribbean. I feel like just Sony Pictures was just entitled to have executive producers just kind of watch over him to handle the budget.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 were shot almost instantly. Which that's unheard of almost.
That's how they did the second and third pirate movies.
Yeah, and all like the Lord of the Rings too.
Wait, what do you mean instantly? Like back to back?
Yeah, back like
they shot the second and third Pirates of the Caribbean movies right after each other.
Oh, okay.
Like the first Spider-Man came out in May 2002. Well, that November they're already shooting Spider-Man 2, only 6 months after the movie got released. That's like a week after it premiered on DVD and VHS. So with this one, they had time. They had, they went the proper way, and they just completely fucked it up. And I remember watching it in theaters and just completely forgetting about what I watched. Because I was so disappointed. Because that trailer, man, I don't know if you guys remember the trailer. That was one of the best trailers I've ever seen. I thought that movie was going to beat Avatar or Titanic or whichever one came out. I thought, I was like, that's going to be the highest grossing movie ever made just by the trailer. But
big disappointment.
Yeah, that really showed me that trailers can be deceiving. In that one they literally showed every good scene, but in the wrong order. But okay, and another good one. Like I said, this conversation could be. There's not enough hours in the day. But another one is, in my opinion, the best Marvel movie, and my second favorite is X-Men: Days of Futures Past. That one is so good. It epitomizes everything that's good about the X-Men. About like what we were talking about earlier about how it's pretty much Martin Luther King Jr.'s Professor X versus Magneto's Malcolm X. Whereas that scene wherever Professor X is trying to talk to Mystique through Cerebro, and he's like, "Don't kill Bolivar Trask." There's just gonna be another one just like him. Yeah. That's Martin Luther King Jr.'s way of thinking about being peaceful. And then when Mystique says, "Well, I'll just kill that person too," that's completely Eric / Malcolm X's point of view about how he is just more radical. They both strive for the same goals, but one is just completely more radical. and that movie epitomizes the best of that concept. And also it brings back a lot of the old cast. Like that's what made Hugh Jackman, obviously that's what made him a movie star, was Wolverine.
Yeah, by far.
And that scene with Quicksilver, that Quicksilver scene whenever they're leaving the White House, that could be my favorite scene in any comic book movie. That slow motion scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And that scene right there is worth buying the movie.
Well, forgot his name. Oh, James McAvoy. He carries that movie.
Yeah. And what's weird? It's like I feel like X-Men First Class, it was more of Michael Fassbender's movie because he was the talk of the town, But this one, man, that's James McAvoy's best performance. Not just in a comic book movie.
First Class starts off telling his story.
Yeah.
And then it's about him tracking down Kevin Bacon's character.
Yeah.
And then,
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, and then it's pretty much about him.
Yeah. So I just think it's kind of interesting to watch these characters literally flip where everyone was talking, which of course, like I said, Michael Fassbender's good in it, but his character's kind of subtly played. He's not as radical, but yet his ideas are.
It's also not as much about him.
Yeah.
Is Fassbender Magneto?
Yeah, Fassbender's Magneto.
The younger Magneto.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, of course, a good thing about it is that it's Bryan Singer. It's the guy who directed the first two X-Men, the guy who literally brought those comic books onto the big screen. He was back to direct it, which that helps.
Random tangent.
Yeah.
Is the old Magneto Gandalf?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just now thought about that.
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
What is he, British?
Yeah. Oh, he's knighted.
He's knighted by the Queen.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So is Patrick Stewart.
Is he? Really?
Elton John, Michael Caine. Pretty much all those famous British guys.
Yeah, I guess that's how you can tell if you're famous, if you've been knighted in Britain.
But speaking of Marvel, yesterday I watched The Punisher.
Which one?
The one with Thomas Jane.
Yeah. Does it still hold up, or is it?
Well, I watched it on DVD.
Oh,
so,
okay. Then, yeah.
I mean, but I'm sure on Blu-ray it would look.
Yeah.
It'd probably look pretty good.
Cause, dude, I haven't even seen Warzone. I'm not watching that shit.
No, me neither. I don't care much for that guy, that actor.
Yeah. Ray Stevenson, I think.
Yeah, I don't care much for him.
But I feel like that movie kind of gets a bad rep. Maybe
It's pretty dark.
It is. That's the comic book character. It's a R-rated movie.
Oh, it's very R.
Yeah. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. Thomas Jane's a good actor.
Yeah.
He's underrated in my opinion.
Very, very underrated. Very underrated. But let me see. I'll tell you a movie, a comic book movie, you guys, that I love and I see in theaters, and I went out and bought it on Blu-ray that you guys might not like, and I've been wanting to watch it again. Is Watchmen with Zack Snyder? What do you guys think about that?
I've never seen it.
I've said before I'm not big on The Watchmen.
No.
No.
Oh man, I love like the alternate history. I love how colorful yet how dark it is. It's
too out there and weird for me.
Oh, see, I dig on that, man. I totally do. It's
because I didn't have a clue what the fuck was going on in that movie. So I don't know. I just got lost because I just didn't understand anything. And I've only watched it once, so maybe if I went back and watched it again.
Yeah. Well, did you watch it when it was brand new? Because it's been about 5 or 6 years old. Every time I watch it, I think, man, why am I not watching this movie more? And I think what helped was that it was actually attached to The Dark Knight. So of course half the trailer was attached to the screenings.
Yeah.
So I guess half the fucking world's seen it. And when I seen it, I was like, what is this? This is a DC. This is Batman. This is a DC comic. I'll go watch it.
A comic?
It's a graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
It's kind of like Sin City.
Yeah, Sin City, which I also love, and
Sin City is good. A Dame to Kill For, the second one, is not that good.
Haven't watched it. I hear
the first Sin City is good.
Yeah, and it makes me sad. I really wish the second one got good reviews. I really do. I want to see it.
That movie, Sin City, the first one, is probably carried by Clive Owen. Well, no, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah,
Mickey
it's,
Rourke.
no, it's Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, yeah.
In fact, the only time that I got turned off by Sin City was I loved Brittany Murphy.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, obviously.
Yeah.
And that storyline, wherever it's her and her boyfriend in her apartment, and Clive Owen is hiding in the shit.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. Whenever Clive Owen's hiding in the bathroom, I thought that story was great, and then all of a sudden it goes down to this like prostitution stuff. I'm like, this is not what we were promised at the beginning.
Where Benicio del Toro's head's cut off and he's talking.
Yeah.
I know it's more of a metaphorical, you know, him talking. It's just in Clive Owen's head. I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, he's got a gun clip in his forehead. But I'll tell you who's good in that movie, and they never say one fucking word. Elijah
Wood, yeah, he's very good.
God, he's good.
It makes you forget that he was Frodo.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a fucking psycho freak.
Yeah, he's a creep. Total creep. You know?
He's so good.
Yeah, he's very good.
When Mickey Rourke sits there and talks about how he sat there and those animals tore him apart, and he never flinched.
Yeah.
Because he's nuts.
Yeah.
But he was good. To not have one word, one line in that movie.
Yeah.
And he was good.
Well, and also, you know, Jared Leto's good as that yellow guy.
That's not Jared Leto. Is
that Nick Stahl?
Yeah. Nick Stahl.
My bad. He's good.
He's underrated.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been in a few things that.
Well, he's in Terminator.
Well, yeah. He's been in a few things that. I mean, he's been in a few, you know, low budget, shitty movies. But I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah.
At some point in time.
But yeah, but that was probably my. Although, like I said, Mickey Rourke was probably my favorite character. I thought the best story in that was Bruce Willis. I thought that was the most intriguing.
Oh yeah. He kind of got screwed over at the end.
So.
Michael Madsen's good in that movie.
Yeah, as his partner.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that's another movie that I really love. That's based on a graphic novel.
Got to give you talked about the Avengers, just it coming out or whatever, but got to give props to James Spader's voice.
Yeah.
His voice only.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's a robot. Of course, it's his voice.
What is he, Jarvis?
No, he's
Ultron.
He's Ultron, yeah.
But isn't Ultron Jarvis?
Kinda. I mean, it's.
No, I thought Jarvis was like corrupted by something.
Yeah.
That made him that way. Cause like they're sitting there side by side and like he corrupts him.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
But they say that Jarvis was in complete control the whole time. He was made to do that.
Well, because Ultron was a kill switch to. Just in case one of the Avengers went rogue.
Yeah.
It was a program just in case, that he would have to kill him.
I just bring that up because I love Jarvis's voice.
I have to admit that I went and seen Age of Ultron in theaters, and I had already worked that day.
Yeah.
Got off that morning, and it was 8 o'clock at night, so I dozed off through the whole movie. So I'll have to watch it again when it comes out.
I'll have to watch it again. I'm going to have to buy it because I feel like it wasn't as much... It's not as beloved as the first one because that was like unlike anything we've ever seen before. So yeah, I just feel like maybe because the Age of Ultron had too much hype to live up to, it might have fallen a little bit.
I can see that.
Because it obviously didn't make as much in that kind of shows because it was the first time we'd ever seen a group of heroes like that team up on the big screen.
Yeah.
And it felt more episodic. It was just more of a filler, I should say. But I don't know. I bet it's great to watch at the house. You're just relaxing at the house one day. You're bored. I bet you watch. Yeah, if you watch it on Blu-ray, I bet your mind would be blown.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it would.
And you were also blown away that we had just seen the new Star Wars trailer at the beginning of the movie or before the movie.
Yeah, and it was also because you just seen all 6 of them for the first time.
Yeah, I've just watched Star Wars, in the past, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Binge watched all 6 Star Wars movies.
Twice.
Yeah, like literally maybe a week before seeing the Avengers. So that's what we talked about. It kind of overshadowed the experience of the movie.
Yeah, we could not stop talking about, even during the movie, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Even after we left, we had just got out of the movie theater watching Avengers Age of Ultron. It did not even speak about it for about probably 30, 45 minutes because we were just enraveled in Star Wars.
Yeah, and and like you said, it didn't help the fact that they showed a trailer to it.
Oh yeah, that set it off.
So that, like I said, that movie's worth checking out again.
Which I would consider Star Wars a superhero movie. So
I'm sorry.
Fiction.
There's no way you're just saying that. I don't think so. That's just like saying James Bond's a superhero.
Yeah. Or MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver. Which I don't know if you guys know this, but because James Spader is such a high caliber actor, it was reported that his very first day of shooting, after his first day of shooting, he received a standing ovation from the cast and the crew. And
emphasizing just for his voice.
Yeah, just for his voice. Just the way he was able to sound all robotic and sort of like... Ultron is... It's best to understand Ultron in this movie because in the comic books, Iron Man didn't create him. But in this movie, it's almost like Tony Stark's stepchild. He's kind of like a smart ass.
Oh yeah, he's just like Stark.
So it's just it's well known that James Spader not only got a standing ovation from everyone in that movie the first day of shooting, but he also got critical acclaim. He was able to be a formidable foe.
And for just being a voice, obviously at the beginning, and for 3 Iron Man movies. Was that?
No, that's Paul Bettany.
Oh, that's a different actor?
Yeah. Paul Bettany does Jarvis. James Spader does Ultron.
They're 2 different people?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I thought that it was the same person.
No, there's no way. You know how much money it costs probably to get James Spader?
Oh, yeah, especially coming off the Blacklist.
Yeah, there's no way they could afford him for 3 movies.
Success of the Blacklist and then getting him,
Just imagine the second.
He's the biggest TV star right now.
Yeah. Well, just imagine if he was in the second one. That's Robert Downey Jr., the highest paid actor. Mickey Rourke coming off an Oscar win or Oscar nomination for The Wrestler, and they just happen to have hired James Spader. No, there's not a production budget on the planet that would want to even touch that. No, thank you.
No, and they probably got lucky that it was just his voice, because if he'd had been on screen as like a villain, it would have shot right up.
He's so good. I mean, he's
good at playing a villain.
He's probably the best Marvel Cinematic Universe villain so far, either him or the Winter Soldier. But the Winter Soldier is a different story.
Oh yeah. So much better than the first one.
Oh yeah, I mean
Captain America.
So
much better than the first one.
In my opinion, that's my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, just because they were able to make a character so old as Captain America super relevant. I mean, that list that he's writing down, it had like Nirvana, Star Wars, just a bunch of little pop culture references that he just simply missed because he was, frozen. And I do love how the Winter Soldier is a shoot first, ask questions later sort of thing.
Yeah.
You see him on screen, he's blowing motherfuckers up.
Yeah, he is.
It's I feel like 5-6 years down the road, it will be regarded as that movie might be slightly better than Iron Man.
Slightly.
Yeah, that's your favorite.
So you better
line
step off a little bit. There's a fine line.
No, I'm just gonna say I was more blown away by Captain America: Future Soldier.
Than Iron Man?
Yeah, the first one.
I was more blown away by Days of Futures Past.
Oh, obviously, yeah, and I was more blown away.
I mean, when I went and saw that in theaters, it was insane.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I was more blown away by that. That's my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, that movie starts off with just like grabbing you where. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but you know what I'm talking about. The beginning, what all happens.
It's just where it's just set in the year which it's funny because in the comic book it was like set in the year 2012. So for relevant purposes, they had to set it up to where it's like 2037 or something like that. And also in the comic book, it's Kitty Pryde who gets sent back.
Because the comic is probably in the 60s.
Yeah, the comic book was in the 60s. Yeah, and it's probably that or the comic book that's based off of X-Men X2, X-Men United. Those two are probably the best renowned graphic novels because the second one's based off of, I think it's called Man Kills, God Saves, and it's based off of William Stryker's relationship with the X-Men, which I love the second one too. X2, first really good movie. First really, really good comic book movie.
I don't know, but what's his name that plays Stryker in Origins?
Yeah, Danny Houston.
He is an underrated actor.
Yeah, he's good in it. I liked him. Yeah.
I mean, anything he plays in, really. He's I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. Like, he's not used.
Yeah.
But he just kind of, to me, he doesn't really get as much credit because he's a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in a movie that's also based off a graphic novel, 30 Days a Night, where he plays that main vampire. Yeah, that's good. That's a good movie. It scared the fuck out of me when I was...
Very good movie. Yeah, it is pretty creepy.
That could have been that might have been the first R-rated movie I seen when I was in theaters, because I just turned 17 3 months beforehand, so I always hold a special place in my heart for that movie.
Which has Ben Foster in it.
Yeah.
Who's also in X-Men.
Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, Ben Foster's in it.
Nice catch.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. So it has pretty much Angel and William Stryker in the same movie, but it's about vampires. But going back to obviously 30 Days a Night is based on a graphic novel. What'd you guys think about 300?
I loved 300.
Yeah.
And I liked the second one even better.
Really? I haven't even seen the second one.
Second one is amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't have thought that. I just figured it would have been
There's
a cheap
really
sequel.
nobody in it.
Yeah.
No big name actors or nothing, but it is. Gerard Butler has a cameo. His character,
Yeah.
it just shows him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be better than the first one.
No way.
No, I'm not kidding.
Don't you remember, like, in 2007 when it came out? Like, you weren't cool in high school unless you'd seen 300.
Yeah, I bought it when it came out.
Yeah, and so did I. But I loved it. I loved the art style. See, one of the directors that I like that not a lot of people like is Zack Snyder. Because I even liked the new Man of Steel movie. I thought that was pretty cool. For what it was, a summer blockbuster, thought it was very good. So I like 300, I like Watchmen. Gerard Butler kills it. A young Michael Fassbender's in it.
Yeah, Michael Shannon.
Oh, and General Zod.
He kills it.
Yeah, he's good. He makes Gene Hackman look like a pussy.
Oh yeah, by far.
It's just, man, I like the reboot because I've never been a Superman fan. I always preferred Marvel, except for Batman. But I liked how the fact that it could draw in a non-DC person, and I was completely riveted by it.
Batman's my favorite superhero.
Obviously, Spider-Man is mine.
Please, Spider-Man, and get on your knees, Jonathan.
Fuck. Why? Because I like a movie that's 12 years old. Do you guys don't remember that Spider-Man 2 is still regarded today as the best Marvel movie? And it has like a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That I went and seen a double feature of Spider-Man 2 and Men in Black 2.
Well, it just means that they're both owned by Sony. Sony Film
It
Pictures.
just means it was shit night at the theater. 2-for-1 special on shit night.
Don't you remember, like, Alfred Molina and, like, J.K. Simmons is probably the best casting in a Marvel movie. Not Robert Downey Jr., not Hugh Jackman, but J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, best casting in any Marvel movie, man. He steals every scene that he's in. Don't know anyone who doesn't like J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
J.K. Simmons pretty much steals every scene he's in every movie.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true.
Give an example of
Whiplash. He just came off his Oscar nomination for a Whiplash.
Oscar win.
Yeah, Oscar win of Whiplash.
I've never seen Whiplash.
Man, he is a mean motherfucker in that movie. Just like a strict teacher, Yeah, but that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, that's another day down the road.
But another thing that I loved about Spider-Man 2 is Alfred Molina. Like I said, Alfred Molina really at the time set the bar for villains. He was the most relatable villain because you don't obviously with Heath Ledger you don't really know who the fuck he is. He's just crazy. But at the end of the movie, Alfred Molina completely redeems himself. It's very poetic. Spider-Man 2 is very poetic.
And he's just a normal, nice guy, professor or whatever.
So that's Doc Ock.
Yeah, that's Dr. Octopus.
Everything that happens to him, it just turns him.
Yeah.
No, that was really good. I liked the first Spider-Man.
Well, like I said, the first Spider-Man was the first movie to get 100 million. It's in the first opening weekend. And I do blame my love for Spider-Man towards my hatred for Star Wars Episode 2. And I'll tell you why. because
Enlighten us.
Spider-Man 1 came out maybe 2 weeks before Spider-Man or Star Wars Episode 2. And as a 12-year-old kid, and being that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, I was blown away. Absolutely blown away by Spider-Man. The fact that the camera can keep up with him swinging on the rooftops. I was probably blown away by that for like 2 months. And when I was sitting there watching Hayden Christensen cry his way through a scene, I'm like, this isn't Spider-Man. This is not even in the same caliber. You can't even be released in the same month, it feels like. Because Spider-Man is just a more superior... I know it's comparing Star Wars to Spider-Man, but now it's a little bit more relevant because they're some of the highest grossing movies. And as a 12-year-old, I was like, this isn't Spider-Man. I'm going to go see Spider-Man. It's playing in the theater right next to us, the screen right next to us. Why do we got to watch this crap? And I love Star Wars. If you know me, you know I love Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But going back to that, the angles... The camera angles when they are following Spider-Man, that is brilliant.
Well, they called it the Spidey cam, and that's what I really liked about Spider-Man is because he, of all, maybe other than Batman, lives for that city.
Yeah.
The
fact that he can get across it in like 2 minutes.
You don't have to, fly with the Fantastic Four, but you have to swing with Spider-Man. You gotta see what it feels like, I just imagine how
it does make you feel like you're there.
Yeah, I just remember just being like, I was blown away. Especially the very last credit, the very last probably 10 minutes of the movie where it's right after a certain funeral. And you just see him like literally Spider-Man is just showing off swinging. And I'm like, my God, I can't believe that they can capture this on film. Don't know how they did it. So in a way, that's probably one of the most influential movies on my life. Because that was really when I really started to follow the box office. So I got, I'm biased, obviously, anything towards Spider-Man besides Spider-Man 3. Which I even like The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I was really digging on that one, too.
Isn't this where you two kind of clash? Don't you like, Clayton, don't you like the Amazing Spider-Man better?
I like Amazing Spider-Man better than...
Just Spider-Man.
Than the regular Spider-Man.
All I'm going to say is defending the Spider-Man, the trilogy, is that the money speaks for itself. Those are some of the highest grossing movies. Per average, I don't think there's a bigger movie series out there than Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. I think they all average about $350 million compared to, I think Harry Potter's like $290 million average.
That's a good comparison because everyone loves Harry Potter.
Obviously, I love Harry Potter.
Except for Clayton.
Yeah. Never seen it.
So you haven't seen a Star Wars or Harry Potter?
I've seen 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars.
No, that's hardly Star Wars. Those are the prequels. God.
I've seen 3 of them.
Okay.
Back the hell off.
But yeah, I liked. I really.
A single Harry Potter.
Not a single one. That's different topic for a different day. This is like the third time. This is like the third time we've had to say different topic for a different day. Because we can have a rant about Harry Potter as well, just as much as we could do.
You gotta keep them wanting more.
Yeah, obviously. But so you like The Amazing Spider-Man?
Oh yeah. First one, they kind of took a shit on the second one.
Yeah, kind of is putting it lightly.
But the first one is really good.
I would say The Amazing Spider-Man's probably as good as the first one from 2002, starring Maguire. It's just, by that time we got used to superhero movies. The Avengers just came out, 2 months before. And it was in between the Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises. So, it was a filler movie in a way. And I was thoroughly impressed,
Yeah.
It was a new take on something that shouldn't have been done. They shouldn't have rebooted the movie within just 5 years after the third one. It usually needs to be 10 to 12 years. Maybe a little bit longer. Because, Spider-Man 3 was just fresh on everyone's mind.
Fresh off of being shitted out of Sam Raimi's ass.
No, you're right. I mean, that movie doesn't
It was just crap.
It was. It's weird because I don't like Spider-Man 3, and I don't like X-Men 3. X-Men The Last Stand, didn't like it one bit. It was too short, too mindless action. Like X-Men 2, like I said, is very thought-provoking, and it's based on one of my favorite, It's okay. My biggest ordeal with The Last Stand is that we were promised something good by the end of X-Men 2 with the Phoenix. We were promised a bad villain, But
Bad bitch. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, badass bitch. But by the end of the third one, she's just Magneto's minion, and I'm like, this isn't the Phoenix. The Phoenix is the most powerful thing on the planet. Literally, there's not a thing that can stop the Phoenix. But yet Wolverine can just go right up to her and stab her in the stomach.
Are you talking about from like a comic standpoint?
Yeah, on a comic standpoint, the Phoenix doesn't die. She just leaves Jean Grey. That's how powerful she is. She can kill anything, anybody. Professor X, Apocalypse, Magneto, you name it. But she just turned to be just some minion, like I said.
That's got to be pretty disappointing for you, since you've read all the comics.
And the fact that she killed Professor X, that kind of pissed me off. And the fact that she killed Cyclops, that was one of the biggest things, or the best things about the Phoenix, was the Phoenix storyline was because Cyclops loved Jean Grey, who just happened to be controlled by the Phoenix. But, who's to stop the Phoenix in the movie once Cyclops dies? Nobody. So I just felt that was very cheap of Brett Ratner, the director who did that. And see, that's why I love X-Men Days of Futures Past. It reboots the movie. It reboots everything that was bad about The Last Stand to where it's completely open for a new movie.
Days of Futures Past saved The Last Stand's ass.
Absolutely. It did so much. I mean, if there's a better word than saves, it did it. And that's why it's my favorite Marvel movie.
I loved the ending to that movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
Even Rogue is back.
Yeah, even Rogue, Rogue, Cyclops, Jean Grey.
Professor X.
Yeah, which makes me even more excited for Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse, man. Ever since...
Shout out to Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah, who is going to be a movie star this time next year with Star Wars and X-Men coming out within 6 months. He's the next Ryan Gosling, the next Brad Pitt.
Go buy a fucking island.
Yeah, he's going to be the most popular movie star on the planet.
Oscar Isaacs is...
He is, he's not really, do you want to know what movies he's in?
Yeah, what's he famous for?
Oh, he's not famous yet. That's what we're saying. But he's from...
There's probably nothing you've seen, Nick, that he's in.
Okay.
I mean, you might have seen it, but I don't know how to explain it, like who he is. That's why we have the internet. Go look him up.
A better example is that he's this year's Chris Pratt. What Chris Pratt was able to do with Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World, Oscar Isaacs is going to do that times 20 with Star Wars and X-Men. So just think of it as like he's the new Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt's hasn't really.
What is he going to play in Star Wars?
He is playing just a. He's playing, I think, just a starfighter, like almost like I want to say like a Han Solo kind of character. He's for the rebellion because he wears the Rebel Alliance like helmet and he rides an X-wing. So I imagine he's gonna be that sort of character, and obviously he's playing Apocalypse and X-Men.
Okay.
Villain.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I just didn't know. I had to be caught up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You'll see it come
He's
December 18th.
Outstanding actor.
Yeah, he's very talented. Very talented. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were talking about superhero movies because he kind of likes that stuff. And he told me, our buddy, that he likes Batman Begins. That's his favorite Batman movie out of the three. I can understand that, but I also had to give him mad props. That's Cillian Murphy's biggest role in the comic book series. It's kind of well known that Katie Holmes isn't very good in those movies, but that's
He's not that great of an actor.
No.
Period.
No, but I think the best plot twist is in that movie at the very end.
Tom Cruise's ex-wife.
Yeah, but it's just I feel like because it really was sort of it got released, right after Star Wars Episode 3. In June, a boring month, a slow month. I don't even think it made $258 million. So I feel like it doesn't get enough credit, especially coming out, especially with the sequel being 12 times bigger than any other superhero movie. So I feel like Batman Begins is kind of lost.
Liam Neeson kills it.
Yeah, and Gary Oldman.
Ra's al Ghul.
Even the first time you see Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon, I'm like, oh my god. And you know what I love probably most about Batman Begins, and it's not my favorite scene, don't get me wrong, but what I love most about Batman Begins is the way that it sets up for the sequel. When Batman flips over that Joker card, every time I see it, I'm like, man, dude, just get the fuck out of Gotham. You don't want any of that shit.
No.
You know,
He learns that fast.
Yeah, he learns that real quick. So I think it's the most underrated of the Batmans, obviously, because it kind of set the bar, and it was, everyone still had, Batman and Robin, the shitty taste in that movie. So it really was. It really should have made more.
Speaking of Batman, the worst Batman movie ever is the one with George Clooney.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. Yeah. That destroyed Joel Schumacher's career. That destroyed Chris O'Donnell's career. That destroyed Alicia Silverstone's career.
I mean, it's arguable that Michael Keaton is the best Batman.
He's the second best.
That's arguable.
He's the second best, but it's okay. It's okay. He has a certain quirkiness about him that made Batman kind of crazy. Because, he was, like, so odd as Bruce Wayne to where it makes him think there's no way that he could be Batman. Whereas Christian Bale was, like, a big, beefy, playboy-looking model.
He really fit the role.
Yeah, you could totally see someone like him.
Oh, yeah, as soon as you see him in The Dark Knight, then you just, you look at him as, like, that's Batman. Yeah. And he looks just like what you would imagine, this
but you know what?
rich...
superhero. But what I think what the Christopher Nolan Batman movies did the best was the fact that he was able to act like Bruce Wayne's real alter ego was Bruce Wayne. When Bruce Wayne was putting on a show, it was him at that fundraiser, The Dark Knight. Him swimming in that hotel pool in Batman Begins. The real Bruce Wayne goes around and beats people to a pulp at night. That's the real Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But just to put on a show, he acts like the dumb billionaire playboy. That's what I feel like Christopher Nolan did best. Yeah. And it's just a shame. The
best thing Christopher Nolan ever did was casting Heath Ledger as the fucking Joker.
But that's from a casting perspective. I'm talking about from a message perspective. And going back to Heath Ledger, it's just a shame. Obviously, one couldn't be fixed that a different villain is in each movie. Otherwise, that would have made something so special, because obviously, like, every Spider-Man movie is a different villain. That's what that's what makes Magneto so special, is that he's the main villain in all the X-Men's. But that's the only one. What other superhero movies are there that are like that? There's a different villain in Iron Man's.
I wholeheartedly believe Heath Ledger would have been in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, absolutely. And
passed away.
And people would have thought, people thought that it would have been cool to kind of for them to kind of make a reference about how, I don't know, I don't want to get too technical about theories, because this isn't what this is, but there's some interesting topics. Yeah. About how they could have made a reference, because he's too dangerous. You can't just, you know how Bane frees people from prison? You can't free him. You can't free a person like that. No. So it's just, I don't know. It's the biggest mystery. Even watching the third one, you're thinking somewhere, because he's so good.
Do you think Bane would have been in the third one?
I don't know, Paul. I don't think so. I
think it would have been Joker again.
Which
I would have been completely happy with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He would have been the number 2 choice. He would have been the number 1 choice. But because unfortunately he did pass away, my choice for the main villain was going to be Philip Seymour Hoffman as Penguin. I really, after watching Mission Impossible 3, I was... No, that's just what I wanted. Oh, okay. Before any castings were announced, I didn't really buy the whole Johnny Depp Riddler. I thought that was fucking stupid, But I was really wanting Philip Seymour Hoffman to play as the Penguin. I thought he could have nailed it. But that would have just been two dead actors.
Yeah, and also rip Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah. That would have just been another dead actor playing a villain. So, Tom Hardy's good. He's I don't want to say he carries the movie, because I think this is Christian Bale's best performance as Batman. He plays like the Howard Hughes recluse billionaire type. It's just good luck to anyone who wants to be a villain after a tour de force performance like Heath Ledger. Good luck. You're not going to top it ever. That movie.
There's not enough time in the day and not enough words to describe Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight.
Good luck, Jared Leto. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said,
He's gonna put a different perspective on it.
Yeah, he's gonna. Well, I mean, just look at his physique. You know, he has like the more athletic look, whereas Heath Ledger kind of had like the hipster grunge look.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. It's funny to see to watch like leaked trailers of it, because that now famous Comic-Con trailer, whenever you hear laughing, the entire theater just goes fucking apeshit. Because everyone knows that the Joker is not just Heath's or Jack's or Mark Hamill's or Jared Leto's. The Joker is the most popular movie villain of all time. Not best, but most popular.
He's the most iconic.
Yeah. He's, like I said, he's most popular.
Because you think of Batman, you think he has to go save the world from the Joker.
Yeah.
That's just what Batman does.
It epitomizes why Batman is so good. Because you realize how many people he would save if he could just kill this one person.
And Joker is so good because, like he says when he's hanging upside down in the Dark Knight, that he pretty much, in other words, is not going to kill Batman, because then what's he going to do?
Yeah, he's too much fun. Which I would...
That right there tells you how fucking insane he is. That he would just keep him alive just to have something to do.
Yeah. Here's the only thing that I kind of harp on the Dark Knight for, is that, and this is not even such a bad thing for the Dark Knight, but for the Dark Knight Rises, is that I felt like Harvey Dent as Two-Face, or Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face, was so good. I feel like he could have been the main villain in the second one. Just totally make him the main villain. I felt like that would have been as good. I would have seen that too, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He just dies off too quick. But in reality, you couldn't live long with that sort of pain, I guess.
Not that kind of disfigurement.
So it's just the fact that there's two villains in that movie that could carry a movie by themselves. Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face and Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh yeah. So definitely.
All right, I'm going to throw this out there. What are some superhero movies that you two just don't like? Not necessarily would hate, but something you just don't like nearly as much.
Sure.
Thor.
Yeah. You beat me to the punch. Yeah, pretty much Thor. The first two Thor movies, don't really like. I think they're just pure.
It's supposed to be another one too, isn't it?
Yeah. To me, it's just. It's a filler movie. It's a movie that's in between Iron Man and the Avengers. Here's one thing I don't understand is that why isn't the Hulk more marketable? Because I love the Incredible Hulk. And I feel like people view him in sort of the same league as Thor, just sort of like a non-Iron Man character. But I think the Hulk, he's probably my favorite. I love the Incredible Hulk. That's one of my favorites. So it's kind of weird to see the box office with characters that aren't going to sell tickets. Because Thor's not going to sell tickets the way RDJ. Even if it has Chris Hemsworth, he's not going to sell tickets like Robert Downey Jr. can.
No.
He's not going to sell tickets like Joss Whedon could with the Avengers. Or James Spader as Ultron. He just simply doesn't have the star power, and the character's not intriguing enough. He's kind of like Marvel's version of Superman. He's kind of, there's no conflict in his character because he's just too powerful. With Batman's very conflicted. Spider-Man has a terrible life. Tony Stark might be a billionaire, but he's an alcoholic. That's relatable. So it's I don't like the Thors. Never liked obviously don't like. I don't even consider like the Catwoman movie. That's terrible too. Don't like the Joel Schumacher movies. I like Tim Burton Batmans. I'm just to get that out there. I like the Tim Burtons, and I like the original Christopher Reeves Superman. Don't like Superman Returns. Didn't really care for it. Felt like it was a big misuse of Kevin Spacey. Waste of talent right there. So, what are some others that I didn't really like? Like I said, I didn't like the Punisher Warzone. Haven't seen that.
Don't care to.
No.
Why would you not want to see the third Punisher?
No, the second one?
The second one?
Because it just didn't have... I feel like it's just too cartoony.
It's just a different one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not really a sequel.
It's not a sequel. It looks...
Someone else's take on it.
It looks over the top. I felt like the Thomas Jane one may not be the best, but at least I feel like he had, it had heart. I feel like this one he's just like some RoboCop wannabe, just some mindless robot just killing people. You know, at least with the 2004 one, he had reason.
Oh yeah.
So, let me think.
Can you think of any superheroes that aren't Marvel or DC?
Well, I mean, there's some here's one that's based off a graphic novel that's not either. A History of Violence. Did you ever see that with David Cronenberg?
Oh yeah.
Very good. Very. I haven't read the graphic novel. I want to.
Mortensen.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is probably one of the.
Ed Harris.
Viggo Mortensen is probably one of the best character actors. Man, he just very underrated. William Hurt as his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
We talked about Viggo Mortensen in, like you said, in a movie that was nominated for or won 11 Oscars,
Yeah.
and
No credit.
grossed I don't know how much money.
Yeah, over $1 billion easily.
All three of them, yeah, over $1 billion, and nobody's busting his door down.
Yeah, I don't get it. He's talented. Liked him in The Road. Loved him in History of Violence. You know, very subtle performance. Almost like very subtle, but it felt very caged. Very caged in performance where, you know, there's more to this character you might think than what meets the eye, and then something happens and he just completely becomes a bad motherfucker, a guy that you don't want to mess with.
A History of Violence?
A History of Violence. One of the best movies that came out that year, and it just happened to be based off a graphic novel. Highly recommend it. David Cronenberg, good director. Like David Cronenberg. Which, you know, sitting here thinking about it, another good movie that's not really based off of any major comic book company is The Crow. What do you think about The Crow, my friend?
Oh my God, Brandon Lee?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? It's just the tragedy that happened.
Yeah, you know, it's...
Do you know about that, Nick?
No, I've never seen that. I've never even heard of The Crow.
What?
No, dude, you got it.
The Crow is a movie. It's about a guy that, for anyone who's never seen it, it's just like it's a revenge story.
Yeah.
This guy gets murdered by these thugs on the street,
Okay.
and it's just about he comes back to life in order to kill the guys that killed him.
And he comes back as a crow.
Well, kind of. It's kind of metaphorical.
Yeah.
He comes back as a metaphorical crow.
Okay.
But the tragedy I'm talking about in real life was, for anyone that doesn't know, or has seen The Crow but doesn't know what I'm talking about, there's a scene in the movie where he gets shot. That's how he gets killed. And on the set, that was an actual loaded gun, and they actually shot that actor and killed him.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was only, 27?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
And this is the beginning of the movie, so most of that movie, a lot of that movie is not him.
Yeah.
It's not Brandon Lee.
Which
It's a stunt double.
Which, you know, it's weird because his dad's fucking Bruce Lee. So, he
Whoa.
he died at a young age, too. So, there's a lot of conspiracies about that.
Bruce Lee he was only 35,
Yeah.
right?
But that scene where when you watch it, because you're gonna watch The Crow, right?
Yeah.
When you watch it, when he gets shot in the movie, he really got shot in real life and died.
Wait, and they used that scene?
Yeah. It's fucked
Can't
up.
redo it.
No,
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Wouldn't that be like a snuff film?
But yeah, for some reason there was an actual loaded gun that was used, and it shot him and killed him.
Well,
Bang, bang.
Wasn't it a prop gun, but yet the blast was so powerful it killed him?
It was something, but
he died by that gun.
yeah, actually in the movie he dies while he's dying in the movie. He gets shot. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's insane. Yeah, sitting here thinking. I mean, obviously The Crow is a good movie.
Yeah.
But what y'all think about Kick-Ass?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I loved it. It's one of the most self-realizing comic book movies, but I love it. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who directed one of my favorite movies in Layer Cake and directed X-Men First Class. So the guy knows how to handle comic book material, and I love the over-the-top, almost Tarantino-esque violence. It's so good. I loved
the
it.
Violence is almost slapstick comedy. Like violence.
Like I feel like with Tarantino from time to time,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's so over the top. It's one that you couldn't recommend to everybody because it's a hard R-rated movie. And there's a a 13-year-old girl fucking
Hit Girl.
Yeah.
Hit Girl is a bad bitch.
Yeah,
And she's, what, 13?
Yeah, fuck yeah. And it shows her just calling people pussies.
Cutting their heads off.
And it should make you guys happy that Nick Cage is Batman in that movie.
Yeah,
technically.
Obviously. They even say that in the beginning. Remember they kind of tease one of the mafia people because he said he got attacked by Batman. And the guy says, no, I never even said Batman. It's just some guy that looks like Batman. And then they start beating the fuck out of him. I love it. It's, like I said, they talk about comic books. The characters are nerdy. They make, adamantium references, which is Wolverine,
Yeah.
The guy, Aaron Johnson, but what's his real life character? What's the character in his movie? Other than Kick-Ass. But Kick-Ass, I'll just say Kick-Ass, his life kind of reminds me of like a Peter Parker's.
It has fucking Fogel in it.
Yeah, obviously, that makes it much better than any other comic book movie. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah.
But I loved it. I love how it's R-rated. But I'm gonna throw another one out there, and I'm gonna say this one just out of revenge for Clayton saying The Lion King last week or the other day. The Incredibles. That's a superhero movie from Pixar.
It is?
Oh hell yeah!
I love it. I love The Incredibles. I watched it 2 months ago, and I loved it still.
Shit, that is good. That is good.
That was a good one.
So, it's probably one of Pixar's best movies.
Yeah, Pixar. Nothing can go wrong if it's a Pixar movie.
No, I mean they can be the best movie studio that year, every year.
Oh, that was a good one. The Incredibles. That was really good. I didn't even think about that. I guess just because of it being animated.
Yeah, people underestimate. Like I said, we talked about that earlier. People underestimate the value of animated movies. And that has some of that. That shows what it really takes to be a superhero in ways that a movie with restrictions like an X-Men or a Spider-Man just simply couldn't do because it's animated. That's just me throwing one out there.
That was good. That was very good.
That was very. Thank you guys. I really like that one.
I can't believe I didn't bring that up. That is one of my favorite movies. Is The Incredibles.
Oh yeah.
I did not even think about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, the scene where Samuel L. Jackson just starts yelling, "Where is my super suit?" Me and my buddies would quote that for like years after.
I did until you just said that. I didn't even realize that he was Samuel L. Jackson. What's his name?
I don't know.
He's the guy who he controls ice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know. I can't think offhand.
Which they've been talking about a sequel for if they make a sequel to The Incredibles, which they are talking about. I feel like that will be the biggest movie of the year.
Well, they even kind of started it with the mole guy coming out, right?
Yeah. But it's just why wouldn't they? They made a sequel about Cars. Cars is nearly as good as the first Incredibles.
No.
So why wouldn't
Not
they?
even in the same class.
No, but the first Cars was big.
The first Cars was big, and it was good, but
not-
I don't put it in the same class as The Incredibles.
No. So for them to not make a sequel, they're just being selfish. And that could really be and The Incredibles they do have a fan base.
They could be holding out for later. I mean,
They could. But how much later in between the Avengers and Star Wars, there's no telling.
well, how old is The Incredibles?
About 10 years old. Came out fall of 2005.
Well, this is kind of a ripe time. Star Wars is 10 and a half years.
Yeah, that's true.
But obviously they're not going to put it now with the Star Wars because it's Star Wars.
You put anything against Star Wars, and I'm talking about Avengers and...
To have Star Wars cry.
Shit. No. A Nolan Batman movie would suffer compared to Star Wars, box office wise. I'm sorry, Clayton. I mean, pound for pound, The Incredibles could be the second or third best movie on what we talk about today. But a movie that I didn't really like, which you brought up a little bit with a certain performance, and I'll bring up another performance in the movie, is X-Men Origins Wolverine. I thought did not like it one bit. I liked Liev Schreiber. He's good at Sabretooth.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's
a good actor.
It's just I seen that at midnight, May 1st. It didn't deserve the Covenant May 1st title that it got. It made money. Well, it was a modest success, but it wasn't the record setter that I feel like 20th Century Fox was wanting it to be, with the cheap tie-in to Cyclops, which is not even comic bookly accurate, and the terrible CGI, thanks to, the hacking that it got, because that movie got hacked and you were able to watch it. Like, I watched it 2 weeks before it was even in theaters.
Yeah.
So they think that obviously affected the box office.
Well, that was like Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 was released 3 weeks, I think, before online.
But here's the thing, though, is that Iron Man 3 is a hell of a lot better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. And you can make an argument who's more better in their role, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or RDJ as Iron Man. That could be a toss-up. I know you like Iron Man, but it really could be. So it just Iron Man 3 was a better movie. It's not the best Iron Man.
You're lucky you're bigger than I
am. Shit.
Iron Man 3. Shout out Guy Pearce. He's good in that.
He's very good.
Lawless villain?
Yeah. So he has a few villains under his belt.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care for X-Men Origins. I felt like that ruined Gavin Hood, the director. I felt like that ruined his career. He hasn't really made a movie since because they trusted him with so much.
He tried.
He
failed.
And you can't say it's the lack of acting because Hugh Jackman gives it all every time.
Oh yeah. Liev Schreiber's good.
Yeah. Like you said, Liev Schreiber's good. Danny Houston's good. Good. It's just they couldn't help with the story.
I don't even call him Hugh Jackman. I call him Wolverine.
Yeah. He seems like a really nice. He has a family. He could be a playboy, obviously, with his looks, but he prefers the quiet life. That's very respectable.
Yeah.
So he's one of those people where I'm glad that he makes a lot of money doing his job. Because there's some actors that don't deserve their money that they get. But I'm glad that Hugh Jackman gets probably 25 to 30 million possibly for Wolverine. And don't get me wrong, I loved the second Wolverine, the Wolverine that came out in 2013.
Good.
Yeah, I actually have a poster of it. If it was R-rated, that would be the definitive Wolverine movie. And it's a shame that Aronofsky had to pull out of the director's chair, but they got the guy who did 3:10 to Yuma and Walk the Line. That's not a bad resume.
I still can't wrap my head around it that you didn't like the first Wolverine movie.
No one really did.
I did.
If you're a comic book, just the fact that they literally cultivated 120 years in a matter of a 5-minute screen. Whenever they shoot the screens, it shows him going.
Yeah, going through all the wars.
That's what I was looking forward to. I was wanting to see Wolverine fighting the Civil War, Wolverine fighting in World War II, chewing on cigars.
Well, they could make that a movie, considering they did only do it in 30 seconds or minutes.
That's what pissed me off right off the bat. And if I was smart, I would have walked out. But I was like, no, this is Wolverine. He's my favorite X-Men. He's probably my third or fourth favorite superhero. I have faith. I have faith in 20th century because the X-Men Last Stand was so bad. They will revive it, but no. X-Men Origins Wolverine is the worst X-Men movie.
I can see that from your standpoint now.
And it's short. It's only like an hour and 45 minutes. So much bullshit. Such a waste of money. I can't believe it. But like I said, completely revived by the Wolverine, which is obviously probably one of my favorite superhero movies. If it wasn't for I didn't like the female villain. I thought she was kind of weak, but I loved the flashbacks with Jean Grey. I loved the Japanese storyline of Wolverine because he does train with the samurai. And so I also love the after the credits scene where it shows Wolverine. Spoiler, shows Wolverine walking into an airport. And he's stopped by Magneto and Professor X, and they're both warning him about the Sentinels. That's one of those moments where like, oh, fuck. Now, since I've watched X-Men Days of Futures Past, I'm like, oh, my God. You guys don't know what you're getting yourselves into. You think you can win this war, but they are overmatched, simply. But so that's what I loved, is that it set up for my favorite Marvel movie.
Getting into with Apocalypse.
No, Apocalypse is a completely different monster. He's one of those villains that he affects everybody. Not just X-Men. He affects his Spider-Man, affects Fantastic Four. He really is you can't kill him because he'll just come back 120, 30 years later. Depends. And I loved the after credit scene of Days of Futures Past where it introduced him. So, what?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I very rarely think about most of those superhero movies have a most of the Marvel movies have a thing after the credits, and I always forget about it.
Shout out to Marvel, because Jonathan and I even said that in the theaters. Not one, after Age of Ultron ended, not one person got up from the movie theater, and that's how you know it's a Marvel movie or a superhero movie, because you know there's going to be a hint at another movie, or there's a clip after the credits.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first Iron Man really revolutionized it with Nick Fury telling him about the Avengers Initiative. That really started the tradition, and it hasn't let go.
Yeah.
I sit through now. Thanks to them, I sit through every credit movie now, because I don't want to go home and see it on YouTube when I'm thinking, "Fuck, I was just there." Like I sat through the credits of Jurassic World expecting something. So thanks, Marvel and Disney.
Oh yeah, and same with Ant-Man. Yeah. No one got up from that theater.
I haven't seen. I want to see Ant-Man. Is it after credits?
Oh, you?
No, I haven't seen it. I want to, but obviously with my budget, I can't. I'm gonna have to wait for it to come out.
I loved Ant-Man. Didn't you say you saw it, Clayton?
No, I haven't seen it either.
So you're the only one. You're the only one who's seen it between us three.
Well, I have a one up on you guys. No, it was awesome. I love Paul Rudd in that movie. Because you see the cast, or you think of the cast, and you think it's going to be hilarious. Yeah. And it was funnier than what I thought it was going to be, while it still had, all of the superhero aspects.
I'm probably totally inaccurate, but it kind of has like a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. And if I am inaccurate, please make sure you leave a comment, because I feel like it, because, Guardians of the Galaxy was funny. I
haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, so I don't know.
Chris Pratt's funny. Bradley Cooper, who is a borderline movie star as the Rocket Raccoon, he is probably my favorite character in that movie. And he's hilarious. That scene wherever he's making... you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
That scene wherever he's making... Whenever they're about to break out of the jail, and he's making certain people get their things, and he makes Chris Pratt go and grab that guy's leg. And whenever he goes and gives it to the raccoon, he goes, "No, I didn't need it. I was just kidding." And Chris Pratt's like, "No, I transferred 30,000 credits. You better use it." And he just carried on. He just carries on about how, was it funny watching him walk around? Was it funny watching him hop? I bet it was. Tell me. Give me an example. There's some laugh out loud moments in it. Ant-Man might be slightly more funny because Paul Rudd is one of the funniest people on the planet. So I'm real curious. It was a moderate success. People weren't going into this movie expecting it to break records, but it made its budget back. I don't know if there'll be a sequel.
Well, I'd never even heard of Ant-Man, but going to watch it was amazing.
This is getting in the comic books, not in the movies, but in the comic books, it's Hank Pym who creates the Ultron Initiative.
See, I knew that from you watching the Avengers. You talked about that.
So, but it makes sense in the Avengers because it is Iron Man with the robots, the robot Iron Mans from the third one. It would make sense that he would do something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I want to see Ant-Man. There's still no formal release date for it on Blu-ray, but I might have to buy it or watch it or something because I love Marvel way too much. And like I said, I loved Winter Soldier. That's my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. And unless you don't know Marvel, there's a difference between Cinematic Universe and just Marvel movies. Like the X-Men are Marvel movies, whereas like the Avengers and Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, they're Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And out of the Cinematic Universe movies, it's the Winter Soldier is by far the best one.
Okay.
So, but one thing in particular I didn't really care for, honestly, in the Age of Ultron was I felt that Black Widow, which is Scarlett Johansson, and Bruce Banner's relationship was so rushed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that, too.
It's just, where the fuck did that come from?
I know.
Because in Captain America, they play off each other great. Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson, you think these two should be a couple. But no, it ends up becoming Bruce Banner, who
Black Widow gets plowed by Hulk.
So Bruce Banner, who has shown
alive. That's amazing.
Who shows no sign of interest in any of the other movies. They just happen to be formally in love.
I thought I had completely missed something
Yeah.
whenever I had seen that.
I did too, and I was like, man, I just watched the Avengers on FX. Did I miss something? Is there a...
We missed the wedding.
Yeah. Which I am excited about Josh Brolin as Thanos. I think he's going to fucking knock it out of the park.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think he might give James Spader a run for his money. He is that caliber.
He knocks everything out of the park.
Yeah. So I'm just, that after the scene credit wasn't the best, but the fact that you hear Josh Brolin talk as Thanos, I'm like, fuck yeah. There's a reason why those movies are going to break records. Oh. Age of Ultron might not have broken any records, but you better believe if any movie can beat Star Wars Episode 7's record, it will be the last Avengers movie.
But good luck to them.
Of course, good luck, because I don't think it's going to happen. That's a different topic.
Good luck to Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of here, man. I can't believe you.
I'm gonna get out of here and not go watch Star Wars Episode 7.
I mean, do you not even...
I cry myself to sleep every night.
This movie is 30 years in the making, and you are just shitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've seen the prequels, but those are good. Those are good, but those aren't Star Wars. That doesn't epitomize. We're talking about comic book movies.
Yeah, let's bring it back before we all get in a brawl.
Yeah, but before we all get in a fucking fist fight about Star Wars. No, before like me and Nick fucking kill you for not watching any of the good Star Wars movies. But what'd you guys? I know this is random, but what'd you guys think about Daredevil in 2003? What'd you think?
Didn't see it.
You never seen it? I thought it was okay. It was,
Never saw it.
Ben Affleck's Ben Affleck. It's one of those
TV series on Netflix.
Oh yeah. The TV series on Netflix fucking rules. But it's not bad. I don't like Jennifer Garner as Elektra. I thought she was kind of cheesy. I did like Colin Farrell as Bullseye. That's probably the best part. But it's one of those.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah. The late Michael Clark Duncan, played Kingpin.
Yeah.
So it's good for that. If you want to watch him, we'll watch it.
But Jennifer Garner should stick to makeup commercials.
Yeah, and
sleeping underneath Ben Affleck.
No, they got a divorce, I think.
Yeah.
So I just don't like her. I don't think she's that good of an actress. Didn't like her in Dallas Buyers Club, but that's not talking about that.
Don't even get me started.
Oh shit! Well, you don't. Okay, I won't bring up.
To be continued.
I won't bring up that. You don't bring up Star Wars. How's that sound?
To be continued.
Oh shit!
I gotta come back and listen to something else later.
But yeah, I liked. I did like the director's cut of Daredevil. The R-rated one was much better. But like I said, I really liked the Incredible Hulk. It's a shame that Edward Norton is impossible to work with, because I feel like he would have been good. Mark Ruffalo kills it, but I feel like Edward Norton would be just as good. He's more, although, I've always
for Eric Bana.
No, I don't even consider the Ang Lee one. That's one that I write off, because it was a very weird time, because I feel like Universal Pictures saw the success of Spider-Man, the first one, because it came out, in 2002, and the Hulk came out in 2003. They tried to mimic it. They tried to push the boundaries the way Sam Raimi did, and they just failed in every aspect, including the acting, which, Eric Bana is not a bad actor, just he wasn't suited for Bruce Banner.
Nick Nolte's not a bad actor, but he just...
Everyone really writes off the Hulk. I don't ever hear anyone just go out of their way to talk about the Hulk instead of Iron Man.
And it's a shame, too, because The Incredible Hulk's probably my third favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. That's the one with Ed Norton and Liv Tyler and
William Hurt.
Yeah, and William Hurt and Tim Roth. I love that one. That one, it's just to me, watching that in theaters, I was fortunate to watch it in theaters. I felt like Edward Norton was too lean. I feel like he was too ripped to be some nerdy. I feel like Mark Ruffalo has the physique, because I feel like Edward Norton was the guy who got all the girls in high school. Just super lean, probably had a 12-pack, super tan, too good looking to be this smart, just running around Rio de Janeiro.
It's it's obviously not. I'm just kidding, but it was like he came right straight off American History X and went straight to play Hulk.
Yeah, kinda in a way. Yeah.
Is he the Fight Club guy?
Yeah, he's the Fight Club guy. Edward Norton, yeah, very talented.
Going back to Going back to the first Iron Man,
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think about Jeff Bridges, Nick, since that's your favorite superhero movie, as the main villain?
Obviously, I don't know as much as you guys about actors or anything, but I thought he did a pretty stellar performance.
Sure.
But
Well, yeah, he's an Oscar-winning actor.
Obviously, yeah, you know, he was good enough to be recruited by the Coen brothers. So, but yeah, I thought, he's good. He's probably the second best villain in the Iron Man movies, next to Guy Pearce. I feel like Mickey Rourke was a complete misuse of his performance.
Yeah. Guy Pearce is just amazing actor, anyways.
Yeah, it's just
He plays the villain so well.
he does.
Iron Man 3 is like, I don't know if this will make sense, but Iron Man 3 is like the most different comic book movie because it's like a Christmas movie. You know, there's Christmas references. You hear like fucking jingle bells in the background. He goes to Tennessee. That's not Malibu. That's not the Tony Stark that I know. It's good. It's a good movie, but there were some off points, and I watching the trailers, we were promised like Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. That's not.
I was so disappointed in the way they did that.
Yeah, I was too.
Where he comes out talking like some country hick or something.
Yeah, he's just some trashy actor. I was not happy with that.
No. I say Ben Kingsley, thumbs down. The movie, thumbs down. Guy Pearce.
Thumbs down on the movie.
Guy Pearce, thumbs up.
I feel like this is RDJ's best role as Iron Man, so that automatically gives the movie thumbs down because he was born to play Tony Stark. We already went over this.
What do you mean, thumbs up?
Thumbs up, yeah. My bad.
What to say?
And oh yeah, Mr. Iron Man here. Like I said,
People tell me that they remind me
I can see it.
of a young RDJ, so
I like it.
I have an intimate connection with him.
I can see that. Okay. So I just like I said, the only thing that I didn't like was the promise that we were.
I hated what they did with Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, it's
Such a good actor to just throw away that part.
You're right. He's too talented for a wasted role. But so is Guy Pearce. You couldn't just have Guy Pearce and
Ben Kingsley, and they just throw him away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you're an Oscar-winning actor, you shouldn't be asked to play some shit role.
Yeah. But look at what happened when an Oscar winner, played in Iron Man 2. It was just completely misused. Mickey Rourke.
He didn't win an Oscar.
Yeah, my bad. I keep forgetting that Sean Penn won that year.
Yeah.
But I did like Sam Rockwell in Iron Man 2. Remember
he's good in anything.
Yeah, he's good in anything. You're right. He's one of the most underrated actors in the business.
He is an excellent actor.
Who was he in Iron Man 2?
He is like the corporate rival.
Not to get off topic, but the Green Mile, forget about it.
Another movie is Moon. Do you ever see Moon? Oh, it's a movie where it's just him and he carries it, but that's off topic. But see Moon.
And the Green Mile, obviously. If you haven't seen that.
But yeah, he's pretty much Tony Stark's corporate rival who funds.
He's the one that hires Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
He makes the other Iron Man army, right?
He hires Mickey Rourke to build those things with the electricity in them or whatever.
Okay.
Which obviously, that's Jon Favreau's last Iron Man movie. It's a completely different director in the third one. It's Shane Black. He directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. So they've worked together before. I don't know. Iron Man's in a tough spot because he's about to star in he's not going to star, but he's going to be in Captain America Winter Soldier.
He stars in the Avengers.
No, I'm talking about Captain America Winter Soldier.
I'm saying he stars in the Avengers. If he's in if Robert Downey Jr. is in one of those, he's the star.
Not if the movie's not named after him. It's named after Captain America Civil War. He's not going to be the star.
But
he might steal some scenes.
Yeah, he does.
But it's just like I said, he's in a tough spot
He's
because
the leader of the Avengers.
He is. But I don't think there's an Iron Man 4, but yet he still has the Avengers to play and be in Captain America Civil War.
Obviously, Samuel Jackson's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
Yeah. Anything. Because it's in Hollywood, Samuel Jackson's going to be in it.
Yeah, well, going back, one of the first superhero movies I remember watching is Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, like I talked about on the other podcast the other day, is I would rank it third as the most important summer blockbuster of all time because it was the first movie to show what potentially what potential a superhero movie can, do. The first one to reap the rewards of what is now a $1 billion business.
Yeah, and the rewards are still being reaped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1, 2, or 3 superhero movies that come out every year.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's because of if it wasn't for Spider-Man, which that movie didn't make $1 billion, but half of all, there's a reason why there's 19 movies that made $1 billion, and most of it is thanks to superhero movies. And it's just just the cultural relevance of that movie alone. Just the fact that it got delayed because of the tragic September 11 attacks. Posters were pulled out because Spider-Man's mask. You see the Twin Towers, and
yeah.
it's very and it came at the right time because, like I said, Spider-Man, more importantly, represents the city of New York, and the fact that it premiered 8 months after the largest attack on American soil in New York. That was the best thing for America. In a way, I know it might sound dumb, but that was the best thing that could have happened that year, was a hero that represents New York making $750 million.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like not the best thing, obviously, because nothing good came out of 3,000 people dying, but I'm just glad that Spider-Man really epitomized what it was like to be a New Yorker, what it was like, chasing taxis and, riding the
you really
bus.
get the feel.
Yeah, in a way that no other buddy who lives in New York, unless you live in New York, can relate to. So I feel like that's another reason why it's not the best movie. It wasn't going to win awards, but that's why it's so good and so important for Hollywood. And the fact that the sequel, Spider-Man 3, like I said, was terrible, but it made more money than any of them. It made like $890 million. So, and there's some people who liked it. Some people wanted to see it again just because.
Well, obviously, if it made $890 million.
Some people wanted to watch it again just because they couldn't believe how terrible it was.
Just one idiot won the lottery.
Yeah, just one idiot won the lottery. You could be correct. You could be right.
Bought like 10 million tickets.
God damn it. Just renting out movie theaters. I like it. But, yeah, I just, that movie will always have a place in my heart. I'm not even from New York, but like I said, it really helped me. That's when I, like I said, really started following the box office, passionately. And I was only 12 years old doing hours of research.
Yeah.
So.
When you weren't looking at porn.
It's probably
X-nay on that, Clayton.
Well, it's brought you to this, so I mean, you know so much about movies and stuff now. That's
He thinks he knows.
apparently that was he thinks he knows.
I think I do. Yeah, I don't know.
So that was, Spider-Man was a pretty big movie for you.
It was a special movie that I still hold dear. That I have them all on Blu-ray. I have the box set.
Shit, third one.
Dude, do you not realize how good the second one is? The second one's so good it doesn't matter how shitty the third one was, because it's not renowned as the best. Like, if the third one was the best and it was shit, that's what pissed me off. But because the second one is by far the best one, and I don't care if you don't think the second one is the best Spider-Man movie, you are insane, Clayton.
You didn't say I didn't like it.
But you said it's not the best.
No, I didn't.
I said the third one
Just
was
like arguing with you.
Oh God.
I get the eyes out of you.
Oh yeah, well you have that effect on me. I'm sorry.
I'm good at getting under people's skin.
This is not the fucking truth.
All right. Well, do you guys have any other movies you'd like to bring up? Superhero category.
No, but if you feel like we haven't, because there's obviously thousands of them that we could have brought up, but there's just simply not enough hours in the day. But if you
don't want to have a 64-hour podcast.
Yeah. But if you guys have a movie, a superhero movie that you feel like we left out or we didn't talk about enough, or you feel like that you didn't like that we liked, or vice versa, make sure you guys leave a comment, and we will make sure and look at it, because we love superhero movies. That's next to Star Wars. That's my favorite cultural phenom is superhero movies.
Definitely.
And it's a toss up, really. One day I might like Star Wars a little bit more. One day I might like comic books more. So it really is. And those are some of my favorites.
Call me when you want to talk about horror movies.
God. No, I'll just let you talk for 2 hours about.
I could.
I like a good horror movie. Some. I feel like that's the cheapest form of entertainment, and I know that's gonna piss a lot of people off. But I feel like the sensation of feeling scared. Why the hell would you want to do that to yourself?
What people love is that adrenaline rush.
Well, so you go home and
That's like when someone goes and jumps off a cliff.
yeah. Well, what happens to that guy who jumps off the cliff? People go.
Parachute opens and he lands on the ground.
It's just why.
It's like you're gonna get up and walk out of that movie. There is no monster on the other end of that screen that's gonna come out and kill you.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand feeling the sensation of being in danger. I don't. Unless it takes a real.
I don't see how you feel the sensation to use the force.
Oh, okay. On that, we're gonna end this podcast here. Clayton, do you have anything else to say about superhero movies?
Damn it! Fuck! You like fucking busting my balls.
I'll take that as a no. And on behalf of me and Jonathan, who is actually pacing back and forth right now, we again leave us.
Get it? Same? You gotta bring. How could you bring Star Wars into a? You can't compare the two. I hear you laughing, but it's not funny.
Oh shit!
Leave us your comments. Tell us what. I know we left a lot of superhero movies out. Let me know what they are, and we can. There can be a part 2 to this. There's definitely plenty more to talk about, but so on behalf of Clayton and Jonathan, who really probably can't talk right now, I'm going to sign it out for us. We will see you guys next week.